topic was very intriguing to me. Are you proud to be a Brummie? And so I thought I'd come along, get involved, support and learn myself and hear what others' views are about being a Brummie.
Pride basically means personal responsibility in delivering excellence. And I thought that was a really good analogy of what pride means, because if you're really proud of your city, then you're going to do what you can to help your city.
You know, using that pride in ourselves and in our city to change those things, again, almost exactly like what you were saying, in the sense that, you know, it's important that we understand that we're not necessarily going to be perfect image presented to everybody that sees us. It's kind of like knowing what our faults are and using that pride.
You know, I started out in a bed sitting in Trinity Road in Aston, me and my mum. So when I look back to, you know, being some of the places and the things that I'm doing now, it's not a case of, yeah, you made it. It's like, well, what's next? You know, and so for me, pride is about trying to help other people do the best thing that I can and helping them to do the best that they can to achieve an end goal.
Birmingham Leadership Foundation is a strategic organisation looking at developing and capacity building the leaders of tomorrow. Monday Masterclass is one of the projects part of Birmingham Leadership Foundation, where at 6 p.m. one Monday every month there's a opportunity for young people to gain some skills, some social media skills through Podnosh, a experienced organisation delivering social media surgeries.
Well, Podnosh, we serve sort of social media for the social good. We help small businesses, community organisations, charities, that kind of thing, use social media more effectively. And here we want to help people that have come to the Birmingham Leadership Foundation to do that as well. From
7 p.m. onwards there's a debate about particular issues. Today's debate was about the inquiry that my committee, Social Cohesion and Community Safety, ONS committee at the council are leading on what is it to be a Brummie, and are we proud Brummies?
What it means to be a Brummie, basically, what it is to be living in Birmingham, being a young person in Birmingham, what are the opportunities, what are the lack of opportunities, where can we push forward, where can we create new opportunities for young people to make sure that the city keeps expanding, keeps working for its communities, basically, I would say.
If you look at statistics and research, it shows that Birmingham, and in fact Handsworth is one of the most welcoming places anyway, you know, nationally. So that's something that we've got to be, again, that question of what are we proud of.
I think people are proud about something that they have contributed to, and I'm a proud Brummie because I feel that I've contributed to, in the last 15 years, there are young people that I've spent time with, pouring into, training, developing, coaching, and seeing their lives now having turned around or having achieved certain things, or them now standing up for Birmingham, them now saying, you know, I've achieved this and I'm proud to have done that. It engenders a sense of pride in your city.
That's their starting point. They want to have pride of self and pride of place. They want to get involved, and in a way it's how do we stop that from happening? You know, you said it with the difference between the primary school and the secondary school. In primary, the focus is on you, yourself, who you are, and exploring who you are. You get to secondary and it's about what industry wants of you.
I want to work my arse off for what I want, otherwise it's just not going to come to me. Whereas I think over here, it's interesting to see the kind of the switch between actually I deserve this, between actually I'm going to work hard for it. And when you're talking about kind of the drug side of things as well, I think the riots, and I always get into a lot of trouble for kind of using this, the riots, like 790 odd people or whatever, I think those people actually have the raw entrepreneurial talent that if you kind of honed it right and really worked at it and shaped it and structured it, are the next business leaders, for the simple reasons.
Yeah, that was an outcry of energy. That's energy.
That's what I mean, that's energy just bursting in the city.
At the same time that youth centres were closed. During the summer holidays, that's when, you know, that one. But it's energy, it's kind of, but the push is to do something, is to see change happen.
Okay, so I'm here, so I was invited to be on the Masterclass panel. A bit about my background. I started my first business at age 12. I'm now currently 20. I've co-founded something called the A Fund, which is an investment fund for young people in this city. Been founding businesses kind of forever. I also do international speaking, so I work in about 12 countries a year, and I'm also currently founding 2 new businesses as well.
What you've also got is you've got a real schism, a real gap between the professional sector in the city who trawl in on trains from leafy Worcestershire, where I myself have lived, and life is very different. And when I say different, I don't mean always good, but it's different. But if you look at the number of commuters who've come in, and if you think about the implications of that, yes, they work here, they contribute to the city, they have a right to be acknowledged, but they also benefit from bigger salaries than they get in smaller areas, and then they leave. So I was invited to come along and express my views in terms of the My Brum campaign that Wasim Zafar has been leading on. I wanted to find out a little bit more about what other people felt about it, and I do understand the essence of it, which is really about driving forward a dialogue about the city, what it means to people and where the city may be going in terms of our identity and culture.
This inquiry is looking at a number of key lines of inquiry within it. The key thing is, are we proud enough of our great city? This is an incredible city that offers so much. Do we promote it enough? What makes a Brummie? What are the common values that bring Brummies together? It's been classified as a super diverse city, but why is it that so many different people from all areas of the world come and settle to Birmingham? What attracts people to here? What attracts businesses to Birmingham? What doesn't attract businesses to Birmingham? Why should businesses settle in Birmingham? I'm also keen to look at the heritage, and this inquiry is going to look at whether our schools and our young people know enough about the heritage of Birmingham.
I remember being 19 or so years old and feeling like there's nothing, like apathy was just the way it was, and it took for someone to bring me to a meeting similar to this and hear the conversation and see there were opportunities out there, for it to open my eyes and to see that actually there's stuff going on. I can do something, I can contribute, I can give back. With that kind of exposure and opportunity, I think we're still leaving a large section of young people disconnected from this agenda.
We need to see more of the city investing in young people and communities in order to get that going and to get that pride. And you know, once it starts, as you know, it snowballs with young people. It just takes one or two to start doing something, and then everybody else around is like, actually, I want a piece of that, and it snowballs. But we're not, I don't think at the moment, as a city doing enough to put back into those communities and to those young people who are going to drive the city forward and expand and really demonstrate what Birmingham's capable of.
I think first and foremost it's a way to express your opinion. Expression of opinion on anything and everything is key, and it's that opinion being expressed which can lead to things being changed. So, you know, if you want to change things, if you want to improve your situation and the situation of the city in a way as well, you should attend events like this really. It's a great way to get your opinion across.
And going back to kind of what Errol was saying earlier as well, it's like the only thing that really made me want to get into business and do the things that I've done is out of kind of having to, really, not because I really wanted to, but actually in the kind of environment that I grew up, I had to work, I had to want to kind of fend for myself. But that's actually, on the other level, when you talk about pride, that's given me pride in myself to say, actually, I've contributed to a city that I love and that I grew up in, that I cherish. And it's instilling that kind of mindset into a lot of other young people as well.
I came to this Monday Masterclass event simply because I'm from Birmingham, and I'm very passionate about what we're going to do in terms of developing the next generations in the city. But from a real practical standpoint, I think there's a lot of times we can go around the houses, around the issues around Birmingham. But the bottom line is our young people have an opportunity and the responsibility to do more. So we need to really understand where they're coming from and give them the right support at the right time to do that.
I think from my personal experience, since I've graduated, I've just found it really difficult to put my foot in the door. In terms of, I've done a lot of volunteering. I feel like, you know, I've got a lot of different skills that I can offer. But every time I'm knocking on doors, it's either I'm overqualified or I'm underqualified, or you know, it's just I'm just stuck, or I'm not even looked at, or I'm just passed by. And again, I do appreciate there's a lot of competition, and I'm not saying that I'm not trying. I'm out there fighting like everyone else. But I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'm proud to be Brummie, but sometimes I think, wow, what has Birmingham really got to offer for me right now?
One of the barriers to them moving ahead, and I say this from my own personal experiences, one of the barriers that I got from moving ahead, that stopped from moving ahead at the time, was that I didn't understand how the networks worked. And I think many young people are not given the opportunity to enter some of those networks and to show their talents and to show why they deserve the opportunity. And then it forces many young people to almost beg's the wrong word. I don't believe any young person begs for opportunities, but you almost think, right, what else do I have to do?
Yeah.
Well, I've heard that the event was on, the My Brum event was on, and I might be getting involved with regards to webcasting some of the events that they're getting putting out. So I thought I would come along to this one, and actually, I know it sounds a bit cheesy, but any excuse to come to Winston Green and Handsworth is a good one. And I'm glad I did. Met some really interesting people. Conversation was brilliant. Thankfully, it was a relatively small group, so people could be quite intimate, and people had had an opportunity to say more than the usual 20 seconds that you get at a large conference. So I thought it was good. So they were able to unfold the key issues about entitlement and, you know, is the city proud of people, and are people proud of their city? I just thought it was fascinating.
I think schooling in a way is a like you said, secondary school kind of beats it out of you, like the idea that you can be kind of creative and different and diverse, and so I think a definite place to kind of increase that mindset and to improve it is within schools, and kind of raising awareness that it's okay to be enterprising, it's okay to have crazy creative ideas and to want to improve the city. It's a good thing, and I just don't think it's pushed enough.
I think in here we've got great positive people who've come together, and therefore the responsibility really is on the ones who know, who can see, to share that and to embrace the people who are not as fortunate and are not as emotionally resourced as yourselves. Because otherwise, what kind of a city are we?
I think it's a great opportunity to meet other people who you wouldn't necessarily meet on a day-to-day basis in the work that you do. It's an opportunity to meet with, you know, religious leaders, community leaders, but also organisations like St Basils, but other organisations who are potentially working with other groups within the community who aren't necessarily your client group, but you can share those mutual benefits and opportunities, you know, which will benefit both sides.
I take away from it that there are a vast cross-section of opinions, perspectives, experiences that make up and underpin this whole debate about Birmingham. I think it's important for young people who are passionate about change, who are passionate about social change, who are passionate about people and communities to engage in this kind of discussion. Because if you're not here, if you don't show up, you don't kind of get to make any kind of contribution, you know. So I think it's vital in that regard.
Well, just getting involved is in itself something, and actually I didn't realise it, and it wasn't what I came here for, but actually there is a network of people here who are connected to different parts of the city in different ways, so that was kind of interesting. And actually sometimes you get to feel and think things about the city that you're working in or living in that you don't easily get an opportunity to share, and if it is, it's very often a rant or a moan, whereas here there was a really good balance between looking at, you know, the problems that the city's got, and then looking at the solutions that could be.
I thought it was an incredible opportunity for everyone to express their sort of different opinions, and I felt that it was a really good way to sort of kind of connect together the sort of differences of opinions and sort of collaborate together from different perspectives. So obviously, for example, I am able to present a young people's perspective and a perspective from the NYRG, but that doesn't necessarily broaden out to the kind of opinions that, say, like Jamie or say Pauline would be able to give from their kind of an individual perspectives. So it's a good way for us to sort of collaborate.
I think it gives a good perspective of things that are happening in the city that you never would have necessarily known about. I think that actually it's good for a young person to get out of their kind of normal environment and actually start networking and getting to know different people that within their community they're actually actively helping to make change, because that way they'll create opportunities for themselves in the process as well.
Birmingham is clearly, the word we keep hearing is diversity. We're so different that we're all the same. Everybody comes here and you can slot in and fit into this city. So I think really that is a very clear characteristic.